Terence Crawford Clout chasing Canelo Álvarez unfocused on the Errol Spence rematch. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Cardinal Red. But let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So Terence Bud Crawford recently gave an interview. He spoke about his wishes to fight Canelo Álvarez potentially after the Errol Spence Jr. rematch. I wanted to break that down, give my 444 nickels on what Bud had to say for anybody listening.
I know I wanted to fight Jermell, but if he lose to Canelo, I wouldn't. I always said, man, that's a big step. But for a person to go up 3 weight classes from 147 to 168 and to win and become undisputed, wow. What can they say?
All right, y'all. So Terence Bud Crawford, high ambitions coming from Bud after the Errol Spence Jr. victory. But you can't do nothing but say, hey, man, if you can get it, get it. I do feel like it's a little bit out of place because he just became undisputed at 147. I think if both of those guys had no intentions of staying at 147, then I think they should have just went ahead and did the fight at 154 anyway. I don't like the fact that they're holding up Boots' career and they're holding up the title opportunities that these guys at 147 can have. And, I kind of don't have respect for either one of these guys when it comes to that issue.
Are you ready to listen to the rest of the story now? Huh? Anywho.
Now, I respect Spence a lot more than I do Crawford, just for the integrity that he has, the fact that he's the one who put the fight together, the fact that he hasn't really told any lies, as a fighter, and he's fought everybody as a fighter. So, respect-wise, I got a lot of respect for Errol Spence. Got respect for Terence Crawford for beating Errol Spence, but that's kind of where it ends.
I'm the equalizer. Me. That's what they call me.
And, when it comes to him, like, clout chasing Canelo Álvarez, I feel like that he deserves it a little bit. He did beat Errol Spence, and there was talks of Errol Spence fighting Canelo. But at the same time, I feel like at one point, you were one of these young guys. You were one of these young guys wanting a title opportunity, and now you're sitting around holding up the young guys basically for clout.
When I came to the welterweight division, I called out all the champions except Sean Porter. I called out all the champions. I wanted them all, at that time. And I wasn't able to get in the ring with any of them.
So, I don't respect that. They tried to blame it on Pacquiao a couple of years ago. Hear me out. And I never felt like it was a situation of Manny Pacquiao holding things up. And then he was stripped of his title, if you remember. My thing is this. They could have made a Terence Crawford Manny Pacquiao fight. They could have made an Errol Spence Manny Pacquiao fight. And it would have decided everything. But for some reason, even when Pacquiao and Crawford were on the same promotional company, those two guys never mixed it up. And instead, Terence Crawford got the title by going through Jeff Horn. Now, you can blame any and everybody, but the fact of the matter is, when those fights could have been made, they weren't made.
How can they all be empty? Don't these people know I work 24 hours a week, 7 days a month for them? I should have known how people don't tip. That's what Dennis said.
And now you got a situation to where Terence Crawford holds all the titles, and he's not even talking about fighting any 147-pound fighters. Now, I would have the utmost respect for Terence Crawford if Errol Spence decided to not take the rematch and he went after Canelo, but I would have respect for him if he gave up the titles. If he went after Canelo and still held the titles, I can't say that I have any respect for him. And I don't think that Errol Spence ever really tried to hold things up, because Errol Spence fought, 2 or 3 champions in a row, something like that. Well, not in a row, but he fought pretty much all high-level fighters, and he fought 3 championship fights to get those titles. Terence Crawford hasn't had the resume that Errol Spence has had, and I do feel like it's a lot of clout chasing going on. It's more Terence Crawford trying to get the highest level fights that he can to make up for, not getting those in the past when he felt like he should have had them with Bob Arum.
What happened next? What happened next?
Will you shut up? Now just for that, I'm going to make you wait 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
But the thing about it is, once again, that you were that young fighter at one point wanting a shot at titles. He said that recently in interviews that, hey, when I was coming up to 147 and I was wanting my opportunities, these guys weren't giving it to him. And now, hey, he's doing the exact same thing to Boots and other fighters at 147 who simply want an opportunity to prove themselves.
Yeah, that's it. Keep kicking, Smarty. Use up all your oxygen. Yeah, that's better. Now, as I was saying,
I think he should be more focused on the Errol Spence fight. I think he should be, fully locked in on that. And if you're not going to be fully locked in on that, you should be talking about fighting Boots, not Canelo Álvarez, because that's where you hold the titles. Otherwise, you should be giving those titles up.
How could that be a dream to have somebody tell you what to do for money? You don't mind having somebody tell you what to do for big money, even if you don't like it? What'd that make you? So if you're doing it for money, to me, you're going to be destined to be unhappy, because money don't have feelings.
And, I don't think he's going to give those titles up anytime soon, at least probably not till after the rematch and potentially after a Canelo or Jermell Charlo fight, which I don't think is ever going to materialize. And here's one other thing, this is about Errol Spence and the rematch.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I'm watching this Bernard Hopkins fight for a reason. I was a huge fan of B-Hop back in the day when he was doing his thing. And I think that Errol Spence is a prototype of B-Hop. B-Hop was a lot faster, in his movement and the way he moved around the ring than Errol Spence. But I think Errol Spence could learn a lot from Bernard Hopkins. And I hope that, he, as a boxer, and as a boxer who wants to refine himself and make himself into a new version, I hope that he gets with a guy like B-Hop and gets B-Hop to teach him maybe a little bit more ring etiquette and how to be a ring general. Errol Spence is already a ring general. He commands his own style. He has his own way of doing things, but I think he can learn a lot from a guy like Bernard Hopkins. Just having him in the camp, maybe not teaching him, but just having him in the camp, critiquing technique, giving him tips here and there. I think that a guy who's already been through those type of wars and a guy who's already had that type of experience could teach you a lot. Now, I know people are going to say, well, he's got Floyd Mayweather right there. He's got Charlos and all those guys are not Bernard Hopkins. And Bernard Hopkins was a slick fighter, and he knew how to work that ring, man. So, those are my feelings.
Well, we had to wait for Juicy to sober up so he could drive us home.
Is Terence Crawford clout chasing? Most definitely he's clout chasing. Does he deserve a little bit? Yeah, a little bit, but at what expense? Why aren't you giving the young guys their clout? Why aren't you giving Boots Ennis his opportunity to even just be talked about? I think that would be admirable by Terence Crawford, just to maybe not take the fight, but at least talk about it. Get Boots into the spotlight. Push Boots the same way you wanted everybody to push you when you were coming up to 147.
Listen, it's quiet, isn't it? When you're retired, it's too quiet. I could promote this thing into the biggest gate of all time. It'd be bigger than ours. When you beat me, I heard all over, and I didn't want to know from nothing or nobody, not even my kids. We held the greatest title in the whole world, babe. You lost that fight for all the wrong reasons. You lost your edge. Now, when we fought, you had that eye of the tiger, man, the edge. Maybe we could win it back together. Eye of the tiger. I have the plan. Get back.
Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. That like button, fun man, a share, a subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collab or feature a product or your channel on my channel, feel free to hit my Gmail, because it is a flock of cards at gmail.com. And we are mine.
Now who's cold as refrigerator doors? Obliterated foes, most chicks and haters know. If not, I spit the player flows, trying to get the major dough, and I can't take it slow. Fast pace, cash chase, you in last place. Either he's in bad shape, I got a glass face. We've been doing it big since we was classmates. Now we grown men in the spot watching ass shake. And I'm on the go. Leave her feeling like she never been born before. Y'all sounding like y'all never touched a microphone before. And you can't clone the flow. He's on the flow, knocked out, comatose. Who wants some more? Told the chick, hold your tone. I'm on the phone. Yeah, you really don't want no violence. If a picture's worth a stack, I got a photo album. To the haters, how you like me now? Ain't got a deal, still it's about to go down. And he messed around, got the keys to the town, keys to the city, it's about to go down. To the haters, how you like me now? Ain't got a deal, still it's about to go down. And he messed around, got the keys to the town, keys to the city, it's about to go down. Now I don't know about y'all, but I'm all that sick flow, keep a doc on call. When I get in the game, your stock gon' fall. Put me on a sauce, one track, man, I'm gon' ball. Spin bars like rims on tires, with his Tim's on, y'all see him on fire. The chicks like Louis Key spit raw, but he local, he'll never get that far. Now you might see me in a pitch black car with a 6-pack and big black cigar. Take a play a rat and give it back to ma. Y'all ain't up to my pile. Run with a ma. What I blow come from a jar. If it's drama, come to your job. Louis Keys, show him something they ain't seen. Get gangs of green off paper scheme. To the haters, how you like me now? Ain't got a deal, still it's about to go down. And he messed around, got the keys to the town, keys to the city, it's about to go down. To the haters, how you like me now? Ain't got a deal, still it's about to go down. And he messed around, got the keys to the town, keys to the city, it's about to go down.